Too often, we ignore the signs. A twitch in the leg, a dull ache in the back, a weakness in the arms that wasn't there before. These are not mere accidents of the day. They are the body's whisper telling you that something is missing. Muscle pain is not just a physical discomfort that randomly appears. It is a message that your body is trying to communicate with you. When the body experiences imbalance, depletion, or deficiency, it does not always manifest in obvious ways. Sometimes it starts subtly, a light soreness in your arms, a dull throb in your legs, or a feeling that your muscles are heavier than usual. These signals are often overlooked in the noise of daily life, buried under distractions and stress. But in truth, these sensations are not to be ignored. They are not the enemy. They are the very beginning of awareness. The body does not speak with words. It speaks with sensation, with pain, with tightness and fatigue. When muscles begin to ache without any significant physical exertion or injury, it is a sign that something beneath the surface is lacking or misaligned. Often, this pain is not about muscle strain, but rather a deficiency of the essential nutrients that your body relies on to function with fluidity and strength. The world today moves fast. People push themselves to meet deadlines, to handle responsibilities, to fulfill obligations. Yet they rarely stop to ask how well they are taking care of the machine that helps them achieve all these things, their own body. When the muscles are in pain, when weakness begins to spread, it is an indication that the body has reached its limit in silence and is now calling for attention. This is where the understanding of key vitamins comes in. Essential nutrients such as vitamin D, vitamin B12, magnesium, and potassium are not luxuries. They are foundational. They do not just help with muscle health, they enable it. Without the muscles lose their coordination, their power, and their capacity to recover. If you are feeling pain, it may not be because you overtrained. It may be because you are undernourished. Every single action, from lifting a cup to running a mile, is a coordinated miracle of biology. For this miracle to happen smoothly, your muscles need the right chemical environment. The balance of minerals, vitamins, and fluids allows them to contract and relax properly. When one piece of that system is missing, the whole operation begins to suffer. That is why a lack of certain vitamins shows up as pain, not as an external injury, but as internal distress. The muscles try to compensate, but eventually they cannot continue. The pain is a last resort, the final call to remind you something needs to change. But instead of listening, many mask the symptoms with quick solutions, painkillers, energy drinks, or even ignoring the discomfort entirely. This is like turning off the fire alarm without putting out the fire. The true remedy is not outside, but inside. Restoring balance starts with awareness. First, you must become sensitive to your own condition. Reflect on your habits. Are you nourishing your body with the right foods? Are you getting enough sunlight, which gives you vitamin D? Are you eating foods rich in B12, like eggs, meat, and dairy? Or are you possibly deficient without knowing it? When you begin to ask these questions, you begin to reconnect with your body. And that connection is the foundation of strength. Many seek power through effort and struggle, but real power is built on alignment. When your internal systems are supported, the body responds with vitality. Pain fades not because you forced it away, but because you addressed its root. The ancient teachings remind us that health is not the absence of illness. It is the harmony of all systems working together. Muscle pain, when caused by a lack of vitamins, is a symptom of that harmony being lost. But it is not irreversible. It is a signpost on the path. Your body is not betraying you. It is guiding you. It wants to be strong. It wants to perform. It wants to support you. But it needs the tools to do so. The foods you eat, the supplements you take, the rest you allow yourself, these are not small things. They are acts of self-respect. They are acts of self-alignment. When you start to respond to pain with curiosity instead of fear, something shifts. You begin to treat your body as a partner rather than a problem. You begin to see pain as a form of communication rather than punishment. This shift in mindset is powerful. It creates a relationship with your physical self that is based on trust and observation. You no longer feel helpless. You feel responsible. And from responsibility comes control. When you learn what your body truly needs, when you understand how deficiencies affect performance, you become empowered to take steps that prevent suffering before it begins. The goal is not to eliminate pain completely. The goal is to understand it. Pain is part of growth, but not all pain is necessary. Deficiency-related pain is avoidable. It is within your control, and recognizing that control is the first step to mastering your health. It does not require intense action. It requires small, consistent attention, a balanced diet, a blood test if needed, a commitment to understanding your own body's unique needs. This is how true healing begins. Not with force, but with awareness. Not with noise, but with silence and listening. In the end, pain is a teacher. It invites you to listen, to slow down, and to return to what matters most: balance, care, and inner strength. When you listen, you heal. When you understand, you grow. And when you nourish, you thrive. This is not just about eliminating muscle pain. It is about reclaiming the power that was always within you, waiting to be awakened by your attention, your care, and your action. Let the pain speak, and let your response be one of wisdom. True strength comes not only from training, but from proper internal nourishment. It is a common belief that the more one trains, the stronger one becomes. While training is indeed essential, it is only one part of a much greater whole. In the discipline of life, in the path of physical mastery, what we often overlook is that the body's power is sustained not only by effort, but by what we provide it with from within. You can train for hours, push your limits, and endure discomfort, but if your body is not receiving what it truly needs, then the foundation of your strength becomes unstable. Just like a tree cannot grow tall and firm without deep roots and fertile soil, the human body cannot grow strong without internal nourishment. Muscles do not become powerful by movement alone. They require fuel to repair, to recover, to build. That fuel comes in the form of nutrients, minerals, and vitamins that work quietly beneath the surface. These are the unseen forces that allow the visible to flourish. Without proper nourishment, the body begins to experience fatigue, soreness, and weakness. You may feel that your training is not paying off, that your endurance is not improving, or that your energy is constantly depleted. These are not signs of laziness or failure. They are signs that your body is asking for more than just effort. It is asking for support. We must learn to approach strength from a holistic perspective. The same way we care for our technique, form, and consistency, we must care for our diet, hydration, and rest. Vitamins like B-complex, DE, and C play essential roles in supporting muscle function and energy production. Minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium are critical for muscle contraction and nerve signaling. When any of these are missing, the entire system struggles. The body's performance begins to decline, not because it is weak, but because it is under-resourced. You cannot expect a fire to keep burning if you do not add wood to it. You cannot expect a machine to run smoothly if it lacks the oil to lubricate its parts. In the Shaolin tradition, we are taught to respect the body as a temple. A temple must be kept clean, supported, and revered. It cannot be overused without care, or it will begin to collapse. Training is important, but overtraining without nourishment leads to breakdown. That breakdown may first appear as subtle fatigue, then as recurring pain, and eventually as injury. The solution is not to train harder. The solution is to train smarter, with awareness, with balance, and with internal strength. Internal strength is not about how many push-ups you can do or how long you can hold a posture. It is about how well your systems are supported from within. When you eat nutrient-rich foods, hydrate well, and ensure your body is getting all the vitamins it needs, you are preparing the internal battlefield. You are setting yourself up for a type of power that does not fade easily. It is the type of power that sustains you through long days, helps you recover quickly, and allows your muscles to work efficiently. This is the kind of strength that remains, not because you push harder, but because you nourish deeper. Food is not just fuel. It is information. Every bite you take sends signals to your cells, either to build, to repair, or to protect. When you deprive your body of these signals, you delay your progress. Many people look for results only on the surface. They want visible muscles, toned physiques, or increased performance metrics. But the invisible strength, the strength that resides in how quickly your muscles heal, how sharp your mind feels, and how long you can sustain energy, is often more important. That strength is born from the inside out. You cannot force it. You must cultivate it. Just like planting a seed, it requires patience, consistency, and the right environment. You must feed it daily with care and with discipline. It is easy to ignore the importance of internal nourishment because its effects are not always immediate. You might not feel the loss of magnesium in one day or the absence of vitamin D in a week. But over time, these deficiencies add up. They quietly drain your energy, weaken your recovery, and reduce your potential. It is only when the signs become unavoidable, chronic fatigue, unexplained soreness, or constant muscle cramps, that you begin to question what is happening. By then, you are already deep into imbalance, but it does not have to reach that point. Prevention is the truest form of strength. A body that is cared for every day is a body that rarely falls apart. We are not just physical beings. We are also biochemical systems affected by every choice we make, from what we eat to how we sleep. When you recognize this, you take back control. You begin to see that your strength is not a mystery. It is a science. And when you understand that science, you can improve not only your body, but also your mind. A well-nourished body supports a calm and focused mind. It gives you clarity, patience, and the ability to train with intention rather than desperation. If you wish to walk the path of true strength, then you must look at the full picture. Training is one part. Nourishment is the other. Together, they create a force that is not easily broken, a force that carries you forward day after day without burning you out. This kind of strength is not built in a week or a month. It is built in the daily habits that you choose. The food you eat, the supplements you take, the rest you allow, and the care you give yourself when no one is watching. There is wisdom in listening to your body. When it asks for rest, do not mistake it for weakness. When it craves nutrition, do not silence it with more work. Meet its needs with compassion. Feed it with quality. Train it with respect, because this body is your home. It is your companion on this journey, and the more you honor it, the more it will honor you with its strength, endurance, and resilience. Internal nourishment is not optional. It is the foundation of everything. It is the silent strength that makes all visible strength possible. When you understand this, your training transforms, your pain lessens, your energy returns, and your journey continues stronger and wiser than before. Vitamin deficiencies silently erode power, focus, and endurance. This erosion does not happen suddenly, nor does it come with loud warnings. It is a quiet, invisible process that begins with small imbalances and grows gradually into something that affects every part of your physical and mental performance. You may feel a little more tired than usual, a bit slower during your workouts, less motivated to move, or mentally foggy at times. These symptoms are often ignored, attributed to stress age or busy schedules, but in many cases, they are rooted in the lack of essential nutrients that support your body's core functions. The human body operates like a finely tuned instrument. Every movement, every thought, every breath relies on a complex chain of chemical reactions. Vitamins play key roles in these reactions, acting like catalysts that allow your body to generate energy, repair tissue, and maintain balance. Without them, the system begins to slow down, and as that happens, your ability to perform physically and mentally declines. Your body may still function, but it will not thrive. It will move through the motions without the fire, without the power that once came effortlessly. That is the subtle destruction caused by vitamin deficiency, not destruction in the dramatic sense, but a quiet dismantling of your peak potential. Vitamin D, for example, is essential for maintaining muscle strength and immune function. Without enough of it, your muscles can become weak, your energy levels can drop, and your body becomes more susceptible to fatigue and illness. This isn't just about sunlight or food intake. It's about a deeper understanding of what your body needs and how it responds when those needs are not met. Likewise, vitamin B12 is crucial for nerve function and red blood cell production. A deficiency in B12 can lead to muscle weakness, numbness, and even problems with balance and coordination. These symptoms are not imaginary, nor are they random. They are signals, clear and direct, from the body that something vital is missing. When your body lacks what it needs to function optimally, it begins to compensate. It draws from reserves, slows down certain processes, and redirects energy towards survival rather than growth. Over time, this leads to diminished performance in your daily life. You may not be able to lift as much as before, your recovery time may increase, and your ability to concentrate or stay mentally sharp may fade. It becomes harder to push yourself, harder to stay motivated, and harder to maintain the level of intensity that once felt natural. This is not a result of laziness or weakness. It is a biological response to deficiency. The most dangerous part of this process is its subtlety. Because it happens slowly, you adapt to it without realizing. You adjust your expectations. You tell yourself that you're just getting older, or that life is stressful, or that you just need more sleep. While those factors can contribute, they are often masking a deeper issue. Your body is not being fed the elements it needs to perform. This slow adaptation creates a new normal, one that is significantly below your actual potential. And unless you stop, reflect, and investigate, you might never know what you're truly capable of because you've been living in a state of quiet depletion for so long. Magnesium is another example. It plays a role in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including those involved in muscle contraction, nerve function, and energy production. A deficiency can cause cramps, spasms, muscle soreness, and persistent fatigue. If your body is constantly itching, or if you're finding it harder to sleep and recover, low magnesium could be a factor. But these are not the kinds of things most people think to check. Instead, they push harder, drink more caffeine, or try to train through the pain, all while the root cause remains unaddressed. The path toward reclaiming your energy and strength begins with awareness. It requires you to listen to the small signals, the quiet discomforts, and to see them not as annoyances, but as valuable messages. When your focus starts to drift more easily, when your endurance begins to wane, and when your muscles don't respond the way they used to, consider that your internal chemistry may be imbalanced. Consider that no matter how disciplined your training may be, your body can only deliver what it has been given. Strength is not created in a vacuum. It is the result of synergy between mind, muscle, and nourishment. Endurance, too, is not purely a matter of willpower. It is a biological capacity that depends on how efficiently your cells produce energy. Vitamins like B1, B2, B3, and B6 are integral to the metabolic pathways that convert food into usable fuel. When these vitamins are lacking, your body's ability to sustain effort drops. No matter how mentally determined you are, the frustration you feel when you can't seem to break through a plateau might not be due to a lack of motivation. It might be due to an invisible nutrient gap that is quietly holding you back. Correcting these deficiencies doesn't require massive change. It requires precision and consistency. Sometimes it starts with a blood test, other times with a change in diet or the addition of specific supplements. It requires learning about what your body needs based on your activity level, your lifestyle, and your unique biology. It requires recognizing that food is not just about calories, it's about information. Each nutrient tells your body what to do. It tells your muscles to grow, your brain to focus, your heart to beat with strength. Without those instructions, performance becomes scattered and weak. No matter how hard you try to train or push through, there is strength in paying attention. There is wisdom in prevention. When you understand that vitamin deficiencies are not just a health concern but a performance limiter, you begin to take a new level of responsibility. Not just for your workouts or your schedule, but for the foundation on which your strength is built. The body will always try to keep going, even in depletion, but thriving, real thriving, requires support from within. That support is your responsibility. Power, focus, and endurance are not traits reserved for the elite or the gifted. They are accessible to all who are willing to nourish, respect, and support their bodies with what they truly need. They are not things you chase. They are the natural result of a well-maintained system. When you supply your body with the right elements, when you fill the gaps and rebuild from the inside out, those qualities begin to return, not as a burst of energy that fades, but as a steady, sustainable state of performance that grows with time and care. This journey does not end. It is a continuous process of learning, adjusting, and improving. But the starting point is always the same: listen to your body, respect its needs, and give it the silent strength it requires to do the visible work you ask of it. In doing so, you do not just gain strength. You awaken it. Awareness of these signs is the first step toward restoring harmony and energy. The body speaks in subtle languages. It does not always shout. It whispers through fatigue, it murmurs through tension, and it nudges you with aches and sensations that come and go like passing clouds. These signs are often dismissed or misunderstood, but they are not without meaning. Every sensation, every discomfort, Every shift in energy is a form of communication. When you learn to be aware, truly aware, of these signals, you begin the process of healing, not by reacting blindly, but by responding with clarity and intention. Many people move through life disconnected from their own bodies. They feel the tightness, the soreness, the drop in energy, but they suppress it, blame it on stress or aging, and push forward without pause. This disconnection creates a gap between what the body needs and what the mind demands. In that gap, imbalance grows. Muscle pain becomes persistent. Weakness becomes familiar. Energy levels dip so gradually that people forget what it felt like to be truly alive and energized. But once you become aware, once you tune into the body and observe it without judgment, you create the space for change. Awareness is more than noticing pain. It is about understanding its cause. It is about asking deeper questions. Why do I feel this way? What have I been lacking? Have I ignored the signs for too long? This process is not about guilt. It is about responsibility. When you take ownership of your body's signals, you begin to shift from victim to participant. You stop treating symptoms and start addressing the root. That root, in many cases, lies in deficiency of movement, of rest, of nutrients, of care, and among the most impactful deficiencies are those involving essential vitamins and minerals. When your body lacks key nutrients, the signs are there long before serious issues develop. They come in the form of muscle cramps that weren't there before, in lingering soreness after mild activity, in a general heaviness that resists motivation. You may struggle to focus, feel mentally foggy, or notice that tasks take more energy than they should. These are not failures of will. They are alerts. And your awareness of them determines your path forward. If you choose to ignore them, the body will continue to break down in small, almost invisible ways. If you choose to listen, the path toward recovery begins. Awareness is not passive. It is an active state of presence. It requires you to slow down and feel, to check in with yourself regularly, to ask not only what your body is doing, but what it is needing. This is not something taught in traditional fitness or even in most health conversations. Yet it is the foundation of lasting well-being. You can follow any training program, any diet plan, any supplement routine, but if you are not aware of how your body is responding to it, you are walking blindly. You must become the observer of your own system. Only then can you adjust with precision and care. The energy you seek, the lightness, the clarity, the strength is not hidden. It is simply blocked. Blocked by habits, by neglect, by a lack of attention to the most fundamental signals. But as you begin to pay attention, you start to uncover where the blocks are. You start to notice that when you eat certain foods, you feel better. That when you spend time in sunlight, your mood lifts. That when you rest properly, your recovery improves. These observations are more powerful than any instruction because they are rooted in your lived experience. Your body becomes your teacher. Awareness becomes your guide. The journey of restoring energy and harmony is not a single event. It is a continuous dance between listening and responding, between noticing and nourishing. As you build this awareness, your choices begin to shift. You are no longer eating randomly, but purposefully. You are no longer pushing through pain without thought, but pausing and investigating its source. You begin to see patterns. Perhaps your low energy coincides with missed meals, or poor hydration, or lack of key vitamins like B12, D, or magnesium. Perhaps your muscle weakness is not a sign of declining ability, but of unaddressed depletion. This kind of awareness allows you to take small but meaningful steps. You might start supplementing what you're missing. You might begin tracking your nutrition, adjusting your routine, prioritizing recovery. These steps, though small, are transformative because they are no longer based on what someone else told you to do. They are based on what your body has told you it needs. And when your actions align with that inner wisdom, you begin to restore what was lost. Not just strength and energy, but trust. The trust between you and your body, between your actions and your outcomes. With time, this awareness becomes second nature. You begin to recognize early signs of imbalance before they become problems. You notice the shifts in your own energy and know how to respond. You catch the beginnings of fatigue and respond with nourishment instead of punishment. This is true mastery. Not perfection, but presence. Not control in the rigid sense, but understanding in the flexible sense. The kind of mastery that makes you more resilient, more grounded, and more capable over time. There is no secret formula, no magic pill. There is only the practice of awareness repeated over time and supported by knowledge and action. That practice becomes the foundation of strength. You no longer guess what your body needs. You no longer fear the signs. It becomes a conversation. You begin to live in tune with your biology, aligned with its needs, and supported by your own conscious choices. The first step is always the same. Pay attention. Feel what is happening, not just on the surface, but within. Recognize the patterns, honor the signals, and then act, not in haste, but with purpose. Every step you take from that place of awareness moves you closer to balance, to vitality, to a state where energy flows naturally and effortlessly. In that state, the pain softens, the weakness fades, and the body begins to remember its strength. Awareness is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning, but it is the most powerful beginning you can choose. Because with it comes the possibility of real change, lasting change, the kind of change that does not just treat symptoms, but transforms the root. When you walk that path, guided by your own awareness, you are no longer chasing health. You are embodying it. And in that embodiment, you discover not only what it means to be strong, but what it means to be whole.